everybody. Thanks for joining me today for this edition of the BC Wine Show. I'm Marnie Martin, your host, and today is Foodie Friday. We're going to be making a beautiful beef stroganoff from one of my favorite cookbooks, Cooking with BC Wine. So grab yourself a glass and we'll see you on the inside. Hey everybody, and welcome to this edition of Foodie Friday on the BC Wine Show. I'm Marnie Martin, and today we are making a beautiful beef stroganoff. And I'm using a recipe actually from one of my favorite cookbooks. It's called Cooking with BC Wine. And it has all kinds of fabulous recipes from all kinds of local wineries with suggestions and tips and tricks on how to use wine. It's a really great book. So I'm going to put a link in the description below. But I love a good cookbook, but I'm not technically one of those cooks that follows everything by the recipe, but today we're going to do that. So beef stroganoff. We're going to start with a nice warm pan, and we're just going to pop in 2 tablespoons of butter. Get that nice and all warmed up. And Foodie Friday is actually one of my favorite shows in the week to do. Much as I love doing the interview series, doing the cooking stuff is really fun for me. So if there's something specific you'd like me to tackle, definitely give me a comment in the description below, and I will be happy to look into seeing what I can do to make that happen. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to be using beef tenderloin, and I gave this a very liberal seasoning, and I kind of pre-cooked it a little bit just for the sake of speed. We're going to stick that right in there with our butter and get that stirred around. This recipe calls for white onion, and I didn't have white onion this time, so what I did is I substituted out a couple of small shallots. So I've got some beautiful shallots, so we're just going to get this warmed up a little bit. And then we're going to pop in our shallots. So I've got a couple of small ones, chopped into nice bite-sized pieces. And I was really lucky again. I actually had another girlfriend give me some sunflowers, so that's like the second time this year, which is amazing. Like, I've been on the road a lot this year, and I just haven't had a chance to get out and get my own. So that was just such a treat. We're just gonna let those onions get a little bit clear in there. And then what I did is I chopped up my sunflowers, and I also added some ground mustard. So you can do this either or. This will add a nice texture. Each one will have a little bit of a different kind of a texture inside the sauce, so you can do whatever you like. It calls for about 2 cups of mushrooms, so we're going to pop those in there. Let those do their thing. And then while that's cooking, we're going to get our other pan going here. And we are going to make ourselves a roux, which will be the beginning of our beautiful sauce. And I usually would suggest a drier red wine for this, because it's not going to add a whole bunch of sweetness, and it's a little bit more of that savory feel to it, which is great with the mushrooms, and also with some of the herbs we're going to add in here after as well, too. So you see that kind of cooking down nicely. And then now into this pan, I'm going to add another 2 tablespoons of butter. Gonna let that work its magic for a moment. I don't know if you're familiar with a roux. A roux is basically where we melt butter and then we put flour into the pan and mix it up into kind of a nice paste. And then when you actually add your wet ingredients in, thickens the sauce nicely without a lot of lumps and, you know, yucky stuff. That's a technical term, but anyway. So we'll get this going. And I actually, to be truthful, I'm going to say I haven't actually made beef stroganoff before. So this was really fun to find this recipe in the book, because I had all the ingredients on hand, and I just thought that would be a really fun thing to do for Foodie Friday. So we are going to put, turn that down a little bit. getting nice and purple. We're just going to add our flour in here and we're going to stir that around. Let that get kind of tasty. And then we're going to add in a 3/4 of a cup of red wine. And we're also going to add in about 1/2 cup of beef stock. Maybe 3/4 of a cup. And that looks fantastic. We're just going to let that do its thing, get all those flavors melding together in there and thicken up a little bit. And then we're going to add that to our beautiful beef mixture. Make sure your heat's not too high. Once you actually get that flour in there, you want to make sure your heat's at a medium so that it doesn't get too thick and coagulate too quickly. Just enough to actually get it nice and really thick and rich, which it's starting to do now, which is amazing. Smells so good. And with the beef, what I did ahead of time is I actually gave it a very liberal salt and pepper and seasoning before I put it into the pan. So now what we're going to do is we are actually going to take this beautiful gravy. As you can see, it's really thickened up quite a bit. It's quite lovely. We're going to put that right in with our beef mixture. Delicious. And then we're going to add a 1/4 of a cup of either sour cream, and sour cream is what this recipe calls for, but I usually substitute that out for yogurt whenever I have the chance. So we're going to put that in here, and that's going to just give it a little bit even more of a thickening. And then we're going to add in also 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. That's going to be spectacular and really give it a little zip. Wow, that looks amazing. Can you see how thick that's getting? Yeah. So yes, this cookbook actually was given to me by a friend of mine, Gary Faisler, and he actually is the food stylist and he's a chef, and he actually took all the food photography for this particular book and worked very close with the authors to create it. So we're going to have him on the show at some point very soon as well, and that will be a lot of fun. But if you haven't had a chance to look at that book, it's called Cooking with BC Wine, and there's some amazing recipes in there, so you can certainly check it out by going to the BC Wine Show and looking up our resource page. And then I'll also have a link in the description below as well. And if you're over at the website, definitely sign up for email updates, because that's where I share recipes and tips and wine suggestions and things I just don't really share anywhere else. So it's a great way to get a recipe into your inbox and maybe give you a good idea for the next best thing. So I actually made some egg noodles ahead of time. So I'm going to plate this up. I'll show you what it's going to look like. My egg noodles are all right here, ready to go, nice and warm. We're just going to pop those on the plate. I'm going to bring that up so you can see how rich and creamy that's become now, and it smells heavenly. So we're just going to spoon that over, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like once it's all done. And then as soon as I get it onto the plate, I actually am going to add a little mixture from my garden that this recipe called for just parsley, but I had some chives and I had some beautiful basil out there too, so I chopped it all up. and I'm going to use that as my garnish. Awesome. And there it is. Gorgeous. Thanks for joining me today for this edition of Foodie Friday. If you like this episode, please click the like and subscribe button right down below. And if you want to pop over to the BC Wine Show, you can sign up for email updates where I share recipes, tips, wine suggestions, and other things I only share in email. If you're interested in picking up a copy of this book, Cooking with BC Wine, you can click the link in the description below, and it'll take you directly to the BC Wine Show resource page. Thanks again for watching the BC Wine Show today, and I'll see you next time on Foodie Friday.